Everyone is talking about sleepmaxing right now. Mouth tape, weighted blankets, ice baths before bed, a $400 mattress topper. A morning routine so elaborate it requires its own spreadsheet. I want to tell you something that will sound strange coming from someone who works in this field. Most of it is not wrong. It is simply aimed at the wrong hour. The people chasing sleepmaxing have correctly identified that something is broken. They have simply been sold the wrong diagnosis. I'm going to show you the actual mechanism, the one variable that determines whether any of this works, and then I'm going to show you why 15 minutes, aimed correctly, outperforms almost everything currently trending. Let's be fair to the trend before we correct it. Sleepmaxing, as a cultural instinct, is a response to something real. People are sleeping badly, they know it, and they are finally willing to spend effort and money to fix it. That is progress. 10 years ago, the same people were simply proud of running on 5 hours. And some of what falls under the sleepmaxing umbrella is genuinely grounded in the biology. Cooling the bedroom, getting morning light, reducing screens before bed. These are not fads. They are correct instincts, arrived at by trial and error, by people who do not necessarily know why they work. The problem is not the instinct. The problem is the shopping list. Sleepmaxing, as it is currently practiced, treats sleep as a stack of separate purchases and techniques, more gadgets, more supplements, more rules, rather than as a single sequential biological event with one upstream cause. Here is the mechanism. Your body does not fall asleep because it is tired. Tiredness is necessary, but it is not sufficient. Sleep begins when your nervous system completes a specific handover, from your sympathetic system, the one that keeps you sharp and alert, to your parasympathetic system, the one that allows rest. That handover is governed largely by one hormone, cortisol. Not because cortisol is bad, it isn't. It is the hormone that gets you out of bed in the morning. The problem is cortisol at the wrong time. In most people I work with, it stays modestly elevated through the evening, which means melatonin, its counterpart, cannot rise cleanly. A 2024 sleep study tracked cortisol and brainwave sleep data across 14 consecutive nights and found that elevated pre-sleep cortisol reliably predicted shorter, lower quality sleep that same night, regardless of how many hours the person spent in bed. This is why a weighted blanket sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Why the €400 mattress helps for 2 weeks and then stops mattering. None of these products touch the cortisol handover directly. Some of them create conditions where it happens to occur anyway. That is very different from causing it. I want to be specific about why this matters practically, not just biologically. If your evening cortisol has not come down, no thermostat setting fixes that on its own. No mouth tape addresses it. A cold plunge before bed can actually work against you here. It is a sympathetic nervous system stimulant, which is precisely the system you are trying to quiet at that hour. This is the pattern I see constantly. Someone assembles an impressive sleep-maxing stack, follows all of it diligently, and still lies awake at 11, wired, cataloging tomorrow's meetings. They conclude the products don't work for them personally. More often, the products were never aimed at the actual obstacle. The upstream problem is always the same question. Has your nervous system been given a clear, consistent signal to stand down? Not a room temperature, not a mouth guard, a signal. Here is what that signal actually requires, and it takes considerably less time and money than most of what is trending right now. 3 things, performed in sequence, in the 15 minutes before you intend to sleep. First, you close the open loops. 5 minutes with a notebook, writing down every unresolved task circulating in your mind. Not journaling, a list. A 2018 Sleep Lab study found that people who wrote a specific to-do list before bed fell asleep significantly faster than people who wrote about things they'd already done. The brain stops guarding a task once it believes the task has been recorded somewhere else. Second, you cool the body by warming it first. A warm shower 60 to 90 minutes before bed widens the blood vessels near your skin, which lets your core temperature drop faster afterward. And that drop is what actually triggers sleep onset, followed by a few minutes of slow breathing, about 6 breaths a minute, to shift the nervous system toward parasympathetic dominance directly. Third, a single, consistent sensory cue, the same one every night. A scent, a texture, a sound. Not for relaxation, for conditioning. Repeated nightly, your nervous system learns to treat that cue as the beginning of sleep, the same way Pavlov's dogs learn to respond to a bell. That is the entire protocol. I call it the power cycle, and I walk through the full version, step by step, at 15minutesleepshift.com. No new device required. Just correct sequencing of a signal. Your nervous system is already built to receive. So, sleepmaxxing is not wrong to exist. It is a reasonable response to a real problem aimed, most of the time, at the wrong hour and the wrong variable. You do not need the full stack. You need one working mechanism, repeated consistently, at the one moment in your day that actually determines the night ahead. Tonight, before you reach for anything else on the list, try this. 5 minutes with a notebook, a warm shower an hour before bed, and one scent or sound you use for nothing else. That is the entire experiment. Most of what is trending right now is solving the wrong problem. This is the right one.